Live from the good ship Cerritos. It's the Geek Show.
So let me get this straight. If I'm standing on an electric boat battery in the ocean and there's a shark coming, aren't we both going to get electrocuted?
I would take the electrocution.
If the lightning strikes the ocean, does that kill everything in the ocean? I don't get it. Start the show. Let's go.
If I was faced with a shark or a battery, I would take the battery every time.
I hate to admit it. He's funny.
If you take this was a Trump diatribe.
Oh,
then let's let him have his TV show back, and he can do that instead.
Yeah, that's fine.
Instead of being president, because that's fine. Yeah. I can ignore him there just as easily.
Just let him go be zany and talk randomness. Leave us alone.
Yes.
I guess that's the double-edged sword. I got out of my social media, and now I don't know anything.
That's why you just got to watch Seth Meyers every week when he does his closer looks.
That's true.
Oh.
No.
Well, what you do is you record after midnight and then Seth Meyers and then just watch the monologue. That's
record.
All.
That's hard.
Or
year
YouTube.
Is this?
They're on YouTube.
PVR.
Tape it. If you could just go ahead and tape after midnight and Seth Meyers.
Excuse me, can you take that beta tape and put it in this Betamax VCR? Tape
Can
this
you
for
TiVo
me.
it? Is TiVo
You know,
still around?
the show has to be recorded before it goes on to YouTube as well, you know.
Once upon a time, they would record it and then send tapes to every studio that played it.
All right.
Tapes.
He's a Quinn Martin production. He's Lee George Cade, everybody.
Streets of San Francisco. Don't you forget it. I got Michael Douglas's start, you rubes.
A Quinn Martin production. Rebecca Frost, everybody, who has the bestest boy.
I do have the best boy in the whole wide world, but now he's like, I heard you talking about me, and now he won't leave me alone.
Oh.
Now he's the worst.
I love
boy.
you, Mom.
I heard you say I was the bestest boy.
He's being so freaking cute, you guys. I wish you could see.
Oh. Quad T, Too Tall Tony, he's here.
Hey,
How
I
you
got
doing?
some tapes in the closet, I think, still.
Sure you do.
From
What
back
kind
in
of
the
tapes?
day. Probably. I don't know. Geek Show Help Desk and Geek Show Arcade.
Let's go return some tapes.
And Baltimore Strong, Robert Neal.
Be kind, rewind.
There you go.
All right, let's go.
And our
And our host.
Mr. Kerry Jackson.
Monday through Friday, 6 to 10, x96.com. Here we go.
Yeah, happy Megalodon Day.
Well, thank you.
Happy what day?
Megalodon.
Oh, here
Ancient
he is.
sharks.
Here he is.
I thought it was Megalodon.
Megalodon.
Just call it the Meg.
The Meg, yeah.
All of the above.
All of the above. The bestest news for the bestest boy and the bestest girls.
Yay!
This
Everybody
is
say yay!
this is something.
That picture's weird.
You're weird.
It's unnerving. I don't like it.
It's the eyes.
Yeah.
Paul,
He looks too kind.
well,
the
then,
Giamatti I know.
well, then you should see his new movie where he has the prosthetic in his eye because one eye
And they
is
still to this
askew.
day won't tell us which
Yeah.
one it was. But I think they switched it up.
Yeah, he looked wild in that. Anyway, and a good performance as well. Paul Giamatti is joining Starfleet Academy with Michelle Yeoh and no, this is a different
Holly
show.
Hunter.
This is
Holly Hunter. Holly Hunter. Sorry about that.
I
Michelle
just
Yeoh,
realized
Section 31.
why this is creepy. This is creepy in the same way that if you replace like the Snuggle Bear's eyes with cat eyes, it looks like a demon.
There we go. Yep.
He will be playing the season's central villain. We don't know
Bureaucracy.
we don't know if he'll be a villain in Starfleet Academy or out of Starfleet Academy or what the deal is, but apparently
he's
he's
gonna be playing an agitated fanboy.
well, he is
No,
a
I'm
huge.
hoping he's an agitated
ultimate
professor.
villain.
I hope he's his character from the Holdovers
Yes,
in Starfleet Academy.
he is apparently a Star Trek fan, and when his agent said, "Well, I got this thing," he said, "I'll take it." Yeah,
Can I dress as a
Remember-
monkey?
Remember I almost fired you over Planet of the Apes?
exactly. So he's this is some good news. I'm really looking forward to this. So, Starfleet Academy revolves around a young group of cadets who unite and pursue a dream of hope and optimism. Under the watchful and demanding eyes of their instructors, they discover what it takes to become Starfleet officers as they navigate, all this stuff.
I hope it's the Gen V of Star Trek.
I'd love it so much.
That would be fun. All right, more Star Trek, adjacent news, because we all love Terry Matalas, and we love the fact that he got this the Vision TV series that he's going to be doing. He is now writing a remake of Enemy Mine.
Never heard of this.
Darmok.
Yeah, what is?
It is Enemy Mine is a 1980 sci-fi movie. It was a failure at the box office, but it got, it became cult classic with Dennis Quaid and Louis Gossett Jr. Let me give you the quick plot.
I'll sum it up real quick.
Okay.
Two guys hate each other, and then one of them gets pregnant, and the other one helps them deliver it, and they're best friends until one dies.
Yeah. Set in the set in the future where mankind is warring with a reptilian alien species. Enemy Mine star Dennis Quaid as a human pilot, Louis Gossett Jr. as an alien, crash land on a desolate planet. Both have deep-seated hatred for one another, but are forced to overcome their prejudices to survive. Things are taken up a notch when the human pilot must take care of the alien's baby when the reptilian is no longer able to.
Wait, Lee was pretty much right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he
I
was
thought,
solid.
I saw
he
this
was
seven-
Lee-isming us.
I saw this 7 times at the Valley View Drive-In.
Did you really?
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a good movie. It sounds ridiculous, but it's actually a really good movie.
Yeah.
Twice I paid attention. The other 5 times I had a date.
Now, of course,
Impressive.
Louis Gossett's no longer with us, so he can't be in it. And the human pilot needs to be capable of empathy, so Dennis Quaid is no longer qualified.
Get Jack Quaid in
Womp,
there.
womp.
Yeah, let's get his son, Jack Quaid.
Wade.
Open your mind.
Open your mind.
Wade.
You've got me shouting that every now and then during the week, Tony.
You're welcome.
I'll just out of nowhere just start shouting, "Open your mind."
Open your mind.
Anyway, so it's Terry Matalas. This is his first film deal since the success of Picard.
I'm pissed
Why?
because this is another project, which means no more. It's not happening. We're not getting Legacy.
Oh no, we're not getting Legacy.
I think that
Except
already got
I mean, that's
confirmed,
okay.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
If you need a Terry
you'll-
Matthias fix in the meantime,
Okay,
go watch
let's-
12 Monkeys, the TV show. Oh,
Let's-
baby, that's good.
Let's come back to this conversation after you watch the backdoor pilot for Legacy that we call Picard Season 3.
Oh yes, yes.
So good.
Let's see what else has Matalas done? 12 Monkeys we talked about. He's got quite the.
Well, I don't think
Pedigree.
he's done a whole ton, but the stuff he has done is really good.
Now somebody said that he worked on the reboot of MacGyver.
He also
What?
wrote multiple episodes of the original Voyager.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
He's a
All
Star
right.
Trek boy.
So he was a writer on the TV series MacGyver, not the funny one. Nikita, the TV series Nikita
Wow.
from
think I
2012
remember
to
that.
2013. 2 episodes of Star Trek Enterprise.
Oh, it's Enterprise, not Voyager. Sorry.
Yeah. He hasn't done
He
much.
hasn't done a whole ton for
Yeah.
the amount of time he's been in the business.
He's getting his notice now.
Yeah,
He was
oh,
he
and
was
deserves
uh,
it.
he was an assistant to producers on Star Trek Voyager.
Okay.
So he did work
I was
on
just
Voyager.
trying to figure out how he become Wonder Boy so quick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, there you go. Now I'm not sure what to make of this next story. We keep losing our Blade directors.
Deep sigh.
They're never
brother
going to
just
make
making a
this
What's going on with this?
They will make this movie.
Will they?
I don't
Yes,
feel
they
like
will.
a sci-fi movie. That's the thing.
They will make this movie. But
Is this the
They
guy
should
that
just-
left, or is this the new guy?
This is the guy that
who
left.
left.
Okay.
they haven't got a new guy yet.
Oh,
Jan Demange is his name, and he was recommended by Mahershala Ali because Mahershala Ali, who's playing Blade, worked with him on Lovecraft Country, show we love,
oh yeah.
and said this is the guy who should be doing it. And again, it's creative differences.
Okay.
What is Kevin doing over there?
Okay, so my final thought is just get Ryan Coogler. You got a black vampire. He's shown that he can do the culture. Coogler's shown he can do the culture repeatedly. Put Coogler on it. Make a movie.
I wonder, there have been rumors abound about Jordan Peele having meetings at
And
Marvel.
I'm fine with that too.
That'd be great.
You
shoot,
got a
yeah.
horror director at that point.
And at that point, I bet you Feige would go, you go, do whatever you want. You know, I don't need to see it. You just go and do it, whatever you
They
want.
should just re-release the first one.
Just stealth
No.
launch it again.
Release the second one again.
Release
That's
all
the-
of them. I
that's
love
the
all
good
of
one.
them.
No,
I'd say the third one for two reasons: Patton Oswalt and Ryan Reynolds.
Right. His
Well,
gun
not-
cutters.
not
And-
Norman
And Triple
Reedus?
H and Triple H's vampire dog.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. But yeah, they just they're having trouble keeping directors. So I hope that, I'm telling you, it will get made. It's
But also, you can't get Ryan Coogler because he's already working on a black vampire movie.
yes, that's true.
Oh, that's
Oh,
true.
That's
Can't-
true.
There can be only one.
There can be only one.
Is he
There
doing-
was-
Under vampires? I'm in.
There was a black western that was made a couple of years ago that was on Netflix.
Yes.
The harder they fall.
Harder They Fall. Get that director. That was a great little movie, and he gets the culture, like you were saying, Rob. That's the guy to get, the guy who directed Harder They Fall. Anyway,
Oh, it's so the director is his name is The Bullets.
What?
Yeah,
Of the
James.
Harder They
James,
Fall?
Bullets.
Yeah, James Samuel, also
James
known as
Samuel.
The Bullets.
Whoa, cool.
go and watch that movie.
It's so good.
I thoroughly enjoyed that. I'm just he would do a great job directing Blade.
That
Anyway,
movie rocked.
all right. There's just some quick housekeeping, and then we'll get on with more news. Of course, Geekshow.store is available for you to wear our logo everywhere you go.
And I'm gonna buy that damn shirt if we don't
Do
take
it.
it down soon.
Believe me, it's a whole thing.
Are they waiting
trying
on
to-
something from me? Am I the one? Am I
I
slow in
don't-
the process?
I
down
don't
here?
know who. I
It
keep
might
asking,
Be. I'll
and,
look into it.
and nobody can tell me who we talked to about getting the Barbie shirt. Oh,
I
Have
think
you
it's
gone
me.
past asking the dogs? Because they don't know.
yeah,
Look,
exactly.
I'm sorry, they're just playing. I can't help it.
And then, of course, our Patreon Geek Show got this covered.com is the quick link to it. And you can join us. You get the Space Show early. You get videos from my time closet. By the way, Tony, where are we at for videos on my time closet? Do I need
They're
to give
all
you
up.
some
They're
more?
all up. Yep.
They're all
They're
okay. I'll make
Yep.
some more this week. And get
We're
them to you.
waiting on you.
All right. We'll get you some new ones this week. So
Get them, Rebecca. Get them.
Yeah.
you also get the after party with our Patreon. So and that's where we continue the show after this show and talk about other stuff. So
I have more pop star music news to talk about.
Oh, good.
My pancreas. I have to go.
Yeah, my pancreas too.
All right, you DC geeks, let's get you some news.
Here we go. Here we
I
go.
know you're happy.
Yeah.
There's stuff coming your way. The Blue Beetle animated series is in the works at Warner Brothers Animation DC Studios.
Nice.
Now, this is some of the people who were responsible for the movie, which
Criminally underrated, by the way.
which I thought was a fine little movie, a lot of fun. So there's no word yet on whether the film's cast will be there for it. It's just so early in the stages. It's just a matter of we're going to do this thing right now. Animated series based on the characters. So look for that. We don't even know where it'll wind up because it's Warner Brothers. I mean, the obvious
Max.
place to put it would be Max, yes, but it's Warner Brothers, so we just don't know anymore.
Yeah,
They'll
they might
make it and then they'll just get rid of it.
Have
They
you
might
seen?
just
Have
sell
you
it
seen
to
the
Prime or something? Like they did with the Batman Christmas movie. And,
or Scavenger's Reign? It says
Yeah.
Netflix presents a Max production Scavenger's
yeah,
Reign.
exactly.
Exactly.
As long as it gets made and it's good, that's all I care about.
So that's what's happening right now. Director, showrunner Miguel Puga and writer Christian Martinez are behind that. And James Gunn had a lot to say about Creature Commandos this week. He is very, very excited about this. There was this Annecy Animation Festival that's been happening where people are announcing their projects, and that's where we got the Blue Beetle news. And he was there via pre-recorded tape because he's shooting Superman right now. But he said, it's the cornerstone of the legacy we've been entrusted to carry at DC Studios and plays an integral role in the vision for our future storytelling. Since taking the reins, our true north has been to bring DC film, TV, animation, and gaming into alignment under a single banner and bring a sense of unity and consistency to the DCU as a whole. This frees us to create a range of products that are diverse and compelling and deliver great standalone entertainment experiences on every medium, while also being a part of a larger story that we're telling within our unified DCU. What that means in practical terms is that our characters can move in and out of animation or jump into a game or onto the big screen, but they will remain consistent throughout. Same character, same history, same actor.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. That is,
This is DC's Avengers.
it is
Yeah.
hard
No,
to do though.
This
and
is
stay
their
consistent.
easy way to do Doom Patrol again without having to do Doom Patrol, having just finished it.
Yeah.
And the Creature Commandos do not predate Doom Patrol, if I remember correctly. But it's they're quirky characters, but we just did a live action show that we can't redo right now. So I think this is their easy way of going, we have other quirky, really bizarre characters, including Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein.
Exactly. He points out that Viola Davis will reprise her role of Waller after previously playing the character in Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. He says this new series picks up directly after our Peacemaker Season 1 finale, which leaves Amanda Waller with her hands tied operationally, meaning she's no longer able to get away with putting human lives on the line to carry out her morally questionable missions. Instead, she recruits this ragtag band of misfits, not unlike the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. They are actual literal monsters, and I can't wait for you to meet them. Creating this series has been one of the absolute joys of my life.
Well, he
says.
apparently originally pitched this to DC Studios, and then when he became the CEO, was like, "I'll just greenlight this myself."
Yeah, because I'm in charge. Apparently, this is going to premiere on Max in December. Creature Commandos. That's where we'll see it. And speaking of Peacemaker, we got some casting for season 2.
Dye beard.
James Gunn revealed that Tim Meadows has joined the cast as Argus agent Langston Fleury.
Nice.
Superbad's Greg Mottola is attached to direct at least one episode of season 2. Also added to the cast is Picard actor Saul Rodriguez and Pam's dickish boyfriend from the first seasons of The
Yeah.
Office, David Denman.
He's done other stuff since then, but
He has,
that's
but-
what we know him
Has
as.
he?
Yeah, I mean,
But
yeah.
he always plays a dick very well. And it's interesting because James Gunn was dating the actress who played Pam on The Office at the time, and that's when they met, David and Gunn, and they've remained friends.
Because she was in his movie Slither.
Slither.
Yep.
Something's wrong with me.
We also do need to issue a correction from last week because last week we talked about some Superman casting, and I got because there were news outlets who said it was a different Christopher McDonald who was cast in the movie. No, it is this guy, this Christopher McDonald, who is playing Ron Troop, and it makes a lot more sense.
I'd rather be last and right than first and wrong. I've always said that.
Gunn was actually married to Jenna Fisher for like 8 years.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
were they?
They were
Right.
married.
Yeah.
and
Right.
he was like an executive producer on a couple movies that she was making because she was also, I think, she was doing like the little documentary type movies.
Now, we don't know who Denman's going to play, but the character will be a dick, I'm sure. Rodriguez will play Sasha Bordeaux, who debuted in the comics in the
Checkmate.
2000s, Detective Comics, known as a Batman ally. What do we know about this character?
She was after becoming a Bat family adjacent character. She went on to run Checkmate.
Checkmate.
Oh,
There's
wow.
the Checkmate is basically DC's Shield.
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh,
I
Big
like
deal.
it.
Yep.
I like it. All right. We got more casting, and this is, we're leaving the DC universe now, if you can be okay with that.
Yeah, okay, fine, whatever.
This live-action Blade Runner series, 2099, Hunter Schafer
I love Hunter Schafer so much.
She's going to be working opposite Michelle Yeoh on this Blade Runner 2099, because they're not quite sure what to do with Euphoria. She got
what
tired
else
of
has
sitting
she
around
been
and
in?
waiting. Yeah. Well, she's from Euphoria.
She's from
Anything
Euphoria.
else? I don't
She was
recognize
she was recently in the latest Hunger Games movie.
Okay.
Oh God, what else has she been in? There's a big push for her to be Zelda in
Oh, really?
the live action.
I could
Yeah.
see it looking at this picture. At
She
least.
was she was in Cuckoo, the horror movie.
Oh,
and
which
she
is
was-
coming out this year, and
Yes.
Kinds of Kindness as well.
and Mother Mary opposite Anne Hathaway. So she's working plenty. But this is going to be interesting. Limited series from Silke Louisa, the showrunner, who did Shining Girls, executive produced by Ridley Scott, and Jonathan Van Tulken will direct the first 2 episodes. He's directed quite a few episodes of Shogun, which I keep getting told I have to watch.
That
It's
show's
so
crazy.
good, Carrie.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yep.
Yes.
Well, I love that girl from the MonsterVerse shows, and she's in it
It's-
apparently.
It's phenomenal. It's probably one of the best shows in the last couple of years.
All right, I'll give it a look.
Yeah.
Thank you. Boy, I'm just powering through the news here, which is fine because I'm sure we all have a lot to talk about what we consumed. Let's see. We've got a writer for the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover movie.
I thought that just wrote itself.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
You would think.
Yeah, I mean, we know from episode 9, all you have to do is throw a whole bunch of action figures in the bathtub and then tell the story that you make. Have a studio throw some money at you.
Exactly.
Who's this generic-looking guy on the screen here?
Listen,
is-
I tried to find a better picture that also had like Transformers GI Joe on it, and this is the best I could find, you guys.
He looks like the default middle-sized character in any RPG when you boot it up.
He looks like if mayonnaise and Elmer's glue had a baby.
And that's coming from me. If I wasn't Sasquatch size, I'd be like this guy. I would just look like
this is
generic
the
white
other
dude.
photo I had to pick from.
That's a little bit better. I'm
He's
gonna
a
say.
transformer? He's a robot?
He's a robot.
He's a robot.
Well, they call them pretenders, but yeah.
Yes. Derek Connolly is his name, and he's going to be writing the script. He's also written the Jurassic World movies and Detective Pikachu, which I was told was actually pretty
That's
fun.
it
Have
is.
you not seen Detective Pikachu?
It's good.
It is
No,
fun.
no.
It's good, Carrie.
3 words. Goddamn delight.
Yep.
Really? Okay.
true.
Yes.
I don't know nothing about no Pokemons, but I really, really enjoyed Detective
I've seen
Pikachu.
it. I've
Same.
seen it 5 times just for the Mr. Mime scene alone.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
This is Connolly as a frequent collaborator with Colin Trevorrow. Made his screenwriting debut with Safety Not Guaranteed. Let's see.
That was a good movie, actually.
He worked with
Good indie
Trevorrow on
movie.
Jurassic World. He also worked on Fallen Kingdom. Along the way, he has also helped on Kong Skull Island, Rise of Skywalker. He apparently
So
did-
he's got just the right pedigree for this
For this.
type of movie.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Well, and it sounds like he can put some humor in it, which I think desperately needed.
Yeah, because Rise of Skywalker was some funny shit.
He only helped with that, Lee.
Yeah.
Obviously not with the jokes.
No.
My therapist said it was okay for me to lash out at Rise of Skywalker.
Oh,
Yes, it is. It totally
Woke
is. I will
garbage.
watch out with you.
well, we'll talk about that coming up.
About woke garbage?
Yeah,
All right,
I've got a
here we
lot to
go.
say. I've got a lot to say. All right.
I got something to say.
God damn it. All right. Let's see. This comic book, it's called Get Jiro, and it was written by Anthony Bourdain. And this was also that Annecy Animation Festival I was telling you about earlier. They announced that Get Jiro has received a series order from Adult Swim, half-hour project based on the DC Vertigo graphic novels written by Anthony Bourdain and Joel Rose.
Is this
It's-
just a visual recipe book? What is this?
No, set in the near future. The
Oh my
show
God,
sent.
Tony! People are capable of multitudes.
Incorrect.
You didn't read. Oh, I was going to say read Kitchen Confidential, a book that he wrote. It's not a recipe book.
I read his travel book.
His
Just a bunch of
yeah.
recipes.
His Kitchen Confidential is like Fear and Loathing in the restaurant business.
Oh.
Anyway, set in the near future, the show centers on a mysterious, revenge-focused sushi chef named Jiro, in a version of Los Angeles where customers resort to murder to secure a table at coveted restaurants.
Ooh, okay.
There you go.
I see this in the same world as Hotel Artemis.
As the menu.
Oh no!
Yes.
I'm also wondering if he had any input or any inspiration from a movie called Jiro Dreams of Sushi.
Exactly.
Which is about a very exclusive sushi restaurant in Japan that people line up for years to get into because it only has like 8 seats.
That's where he took the name from.
Okay.
And yeah, he loved that movie, that documentary.
Which, if you've not seen that documentary, watch it.
Wow,
is
there's an interview. It looks like this was published in 2016. I can't remember when he died. But Anthony Bourdain said, ideally, my last meal would be at Sukiyabashi Jiro, a tiny sushi bar below street level in Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, watch the documentary. It is amazing.
The show was created by Brian Gatewood and Alessandro Tanaka, who co-wrote A24's feature last year, Sharper, which starred Julianne Moore and Sebastian Stan. They were producers. They were producers on Superstore, the TV series.
That's a great TV show, by the way.
Very funny.
Superstore? Love
Yes.
Superstore.
Yeah. Hang on. Can we just take a moment to notice that you named an A24 movie that Rebecca does not know?
Is it out yet? Sharper?
It came out last year. It's
What?
a crime thriller starring Julianne Moore, Sebastian
Yeah.
Stan, Justice Smith, and John Lithgow.
I like that cast.
A couple of other announcements at this animation festival thing. We're getting a 3rd season, Lee, of My Adventures with Superman.
Yes. I like it too.
Yeah, we like it too down here.
Everyone likes it.
Yeah, but I write love letters to it.
Lee kind of swoons for it, so
Don't gatekeep how much you love it.
Not.
It's okay to let
There's
other
so
people
much-
love things.
There's so much room for other people to love it. I just love it more.
Come on in.
Losers.
The room is big. Losers.
And finally, this story for Tony.
What do we got?
Adventure Time has
Hey,
managed to... What?
Me? I have mixed feelings about this. I'm excited that stuff is happening, but I wish it was geared towards me, and it's not.
They're not making it for me.
Oh man, you just sounded like every Star Wars fan.
I know,
right?
I know.
They're currently developing 3 new animated Adventure Time projects, 2 new TV series aimed at younger audiences, Tony,
Yeah,
and then
I
a
know.
new movie aimed at an older Adventure Time audience and families.
That's what I'm there for.
Helmed by Adventure Time veterans. Little is known about the movie project other than it will see the return of Finn and Jake for their greatest adventure yet, and that Adam Muto, who was the showrunner on Distant Lands, will spearhead the film alongside various animators that you've probably heard of if you're an animation nerd.
Oh my gosh! So apparently, also at this same Annecy thing, so they had also announced, because I sent this to Tony, they're bringing back regular show. They're doing a new regular show project.
Oh!
But I was just reading an article about it, and they've also announced a new Foster's show geared towards preschoolers.
Oh,
so,
really?
So this will be for little babies. But I'll watch. I don't give a shit. I love Foster's Home for Imaginary
So
Friends.
they're just piling more victims at the altar of Bluey.
Essentially.
Nothing beats Bluey. Bluey destroys all. Bluey dances through the fields with the severed heads of her enemies.
The second show aimed at the older audience of kids will be helmed by Nate Cash, called Adventure Time Side Quests. The series offers standalone short episodes rather than an overarching narrative.
There'll probably be fart jokes in that, so I'll watch it.
That'll be a young version of Finn from before the events of the show,
Yeah.
dreaming of adventures with Jake. Also
So-
be pre-Adventure Time versions of other popular characters, including the Ice King. So
Will this be Boom Boom Baby era, Jake? Or
I think it's going to be older than that, but not regular age.
so here's
Jake.
the funniest damn thing about Adventure Time. It was about 3 seasons in when I realized the Ice King was actually literally Koshi the Deathless from Russian mythology. So as you watch as he's collecting princesses and living in his ice cage and all this other stuff, the only thing they don't have is Baba Yaga. And then all of a sudden you'd be like, oh my god, it's like the two great villains of Russian mythology. But
The Ice King's story arc through Adventure Time
pretty good.
is amazing, and it continues into the sequel series we got last year, Fiona and Cake.
Yep.
And it is I love it. That's all.
Kind of depressing.
Yeah, it is for sure, but it's so compelling and interesting.
All right. What did we consume this week? Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
All right. Tony.
I saw a little movie last night called The Fall Guy.
Oh,
I rewatched The Fall Guy last night too.
That is super fun. I really enjoyed that movie. I hear people complaining about like the story was kind of weak.
So it's what it was based on.
I was gonna say, like, what do you expect? And
It
that's
was a
fine.
perfectly fine, fun movie.
It was a fine story. I went for the lulls and for the explosions, and I walked away satiated. It was quite good. Ryan Gosling was great as the main character, and Emily Blunt.
yes.
Blunt.
Yeah.
She was awesome.
I mean, you get to look at her for 2 hours. That's a bonus.
Yeah, and she's funny, and yeah, just I highly recommend it if you have any inkling to watch it, check it out at the theater. It's still there, or on video on demand for like $20 or something.
It's still in the theaters. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, we went to Cinemark and watched it.
Oh.
So,
Because I read this week that Godzilla -1 has finally left theaters in Japan.
oh,
223 days.
223 days, which is some
That's
kind of record.
crazy.
Anyway, so go ahead. Continue.
So yeah, highly recommend. Great fun movie. TV shows. You guys noticed that that reference at the beginning of the show to Lower Decks?
Yes.
Because my wife and I are deep into season 2 of Lower Decks. What a great show!
It's
So much fun.
Was that, Rebecca, what got you really into Star Trek? Was Lower Decks?
My gateway drug was Strange New Worlds, but then
Okay.
I also started watching Lower Decks, and yeah.
Because I can see, I've watched a lot of Star Trek in my life already, but there's jokes in there that I miss, and I know they're referring to something that happened in one of the episodes of one of the series, and it's actually making me just like, okay, maybe it's time for a full rewatch. Maybe I'll
Oh,
even
does
watch.
someone want to hang out on the space show?
There is a joke in one of the last season episodes where they're just referencing a light rod that was used as a prop in the original series.
Yeah. So,
which made its way through most of the series. That prop kept showing
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
but I could see why that would drive you to want to watch all of them, Rebecca, as a piece of the driving force, because it's like, oh man, this lore, I forgot how deep it is. It goes forever and ever and ever, and
Well,
I
and
want
the
to know
fun-
all the pieces.
The fun thing about Lower Decks too is as I am watching Star Trek and I keep rewatching Lower Decks because it's like one of those comfort shows I like to have on, I catch something new every single time because now like as
one
I
of
am
those shows
watching
for
more
sure.
Star Trek, I'm like, oh haha, now I get this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's so many little pieces all throughout Lower Decks. It's
Cord wedding.
oh,
For
Corn Wedding.
fans by fans.
The last episode we watched last night was the Mugato episode with the Ferengis. Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
one. Yep. Halfway through a book on Audible called Lock In by John Scalzi. Really good.
Oh, Scalzi,
It's
huh?
it's interesting stuff. I can recommend it if you're into near future sci-fi. It's
Was
good
it part
stuff.
of the? Is it part of the Old Man's War series?
I don't think so. I think it's
Okay.
standalone. Yeah.
Because I know that he has one that just came out that's part of that series.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this one's a
Ooh,
couple years
okay.
old, I think.
The plot summary: the world is exposed to a highly contagious virus. Most who get sick experience nothing worse than flu-like symptoms, but for 1%, the virus causes the victims to be fully awake but unable to move or respond to stimulus. This is known as lock-in and resembles the real condition known as locked-in syndrome.
Yeah, it's real. So basically, the impetus of the book, the universe there is the government, all the governments of the world threw a bunch of money at science to make that more of a livable condition for people. So you end up in a situation similar to that old movie with not old, but Bruce Willis, where they have the doppelganger version of themselves that walk around and they stay in their house in that pod.
Weird.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I think you'd really like Lock In, Lee. It's
Okay.
pretty cool. And then what was the last thing I was going to talk about? Dark Matter. you guys, you got to be watching Dark Matter. It's so good. I watched the last episode, and like I say this every week because I've read the book and really enjoyed it, but this TV series is so different, but so good. It's Dark Matter. Just watch it. Just watch it. The end.
It's on the poster. Just watch it.
Just watch it.
Just watch it.
That's right.
Robert, what do you got?
Sure. Book that I'm currently reading, Scarlet Odyssey by C.T. Ruizzi. Oh, there we go. Basically, it's a society where magic is wielded by women. All of the men are warriors. But there's this one guy who's a chieftain's firstborn son whose mother taught him some things, and he's kind of secretly followed in her path to kind of learn the lore. And something happens where he now has to expose his secret, and everybody shuns him. And it's also a multi-tribe war that's about to brew that he's going to be a very critical part of. Great story, good lore. I've been enjoying that. Going to Tony's Ryan Gosling watching.
Yeah.
And bear with me here. I finally watched Hitman. Watched that this weekend, earlier this
Yes.
week with the
Man's
wife.
good. Glenn Powell.
I
yeah,
enjoyed
yeah.
that.
The Ryan Gosling crossover is my wife saw a trailer for it. Was like, oh, I think I want to watch this, and thought that it was Ryan Gosling. So she kept waiting for him to show up, and then she realizes it's Glenn Powell.
Yeah.
But that was a delightful movie. I am sad that I waited so long to watch it, but it was quite fun. We both enjoyed it very much. TV watching The Acolyte. Oh man, wow, loving the
Okay,
Acolyte.
the internet's going up in flames about this last
Stop,
episode.
Stop.
And I haven't watched it yet.
There's nothing wrong with this episode.
There's literally
It
nothing
is
wrong
a
with it.
very concentrated effort. I've actually found the YouTube channels that are doing it, and they're just sending their little sycophantic fanboys out to review bomb everything.
Blarg.
And
They're review bombing a movie from years ago called Acolyte.
yeah,
They're getting it wrong. They're going on Rotten Tomatoes and reviewing the wrong thing, saying this
bunch of
isn't Star
idiots.
Wars. Well, it's not. It's
not so much that they're idiots. Well, besides the
You
fact that
know.
they are, but it's you can have black characters in Star Wars. Just don't make them the main characters. If you can have them on the side, they're fine.
Oh my
what
I
should
just-
we have?
Lesbians, though, I draw the line.
I have so much to say about this, Rob.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
but
look to
everybody
take this up in the
knows-
after party because I got some issues here.
Everybody knows Zabrak culture doesn't allow homosexuality.
Doctor Who watched The Legend of Ruby Sunday last night, and wow. If you're a Doctor Who fan, they blew some things apart, and
Oh,
Nice.
I loved every minute of it, and loved the cliffhanger. And 3 things for comic news. One.
I didn't make it to the store this week. I look
Okay.
forward to this every week from you, Rob.
So, SCP Comic Series. If you are familiar with the SCP Foundation, which stands for Secure, Contain, and Protect, it is a X-Files-esque organization that talks about different paranormal people, creatures, etc., and phenomenon. And this is their first issue, The Plague Doctor, which is part of the lore. It's SCP-049. If you look up the Foundation and go through their list of all of their creatures, the Plague Doctor is one of them. Interesting story.
What
Issue
herbs does
2.
he have in his nose?
Which herbs?
Dun-dun-dun-dun. Issue 2 of Boy Wonder, and this is a story with Damien and Jason teaming up, the Red Hood.
Yeah.
And we get to hear an interesting perspective of Jason from Damien's point of view.
Oh, who's writing
As
that?
Juni Ba,
Okay.
written and drawn by.
Oh, really? Okay.
And lastly, DC Pride, salute to Rachel Pollack. Fantastic. Few stories by Rachel Pollack from Doom Patrol, Brother Power the Geek, and I think there was one other, and I can't remember which story that was.
That's thick. Is that like a trade paperback or?
It is.
It's pretty thick.
It's pretty thick. It's about 80 pages, give or
It's a
take.
graphic novel.
Graphic novel.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, she was the first known trans author for DC.
Oh.
And she's the one who followed Grant Morrison on his legendary Doom Patrol run.
Oh,
and
what an act to
it was-
follow.
and
I'll say.
did it beautifully.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you get a chance, check those out at your local shop.
All right. Lee? Okay.
I can go. I've been spending a bit of time on a new app that I found that is really quite cool.
TikTok?
Nope.
Yeah.
You'll never find me on TikTok.
Yeah,
You'll
me
never,
neither.
I won't be on Instagram or Facebook
You
anymore.
better be
But
missing out.
not really. I have so much spare time now. It's kind of frightening. But there's an app called Kara, which is something that some people who successfully won a lawsuit against Instagram for training iterative AI on their art without their permission started to basically make a safe haven for artists to share art. So
cool.
it's not there for artists to get famous and rich. It's there for artists to be artists. So it's a lot like Instagram was like in 2012 before it became driven by influencers and advertising. What's cool about it is like all my favorite comic book artists are there and a lot of concept artists are there showing off basically and sharing all of their work, which is fantastic. So like Chris Piccolo showing off his pencils from a very limited run that he did with DC, and it's just been fantastic to watch and observe and kind of mingle. And because it's a small enough app, I mean, it went from 100,000 to almost 1 million users in 3 weeks, but that's all the people basically saying, "Nah, I'm done with my stuff being manipulated without my permission." So we went and saw Furiosa last week on Sunday, and I am so very curious as to why this movie is failing, and at the same time, I can kind of see why this movie is failing. People, it's like if it's not an event tentpole movie, they're just not going. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was weird, but interestingly enough, this is a movie that I think you go home and watch Fury Road right after.
Oh
because-
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it sets up. It doesn't bookend Fury Road by any means, but it definitely leads up to it quite well. They did a very clever thing with the youngins that play young Furiosa and digitally altering their eyes to match Anya Taylor-Joy's. A few times it's a little weird, but you kind of get into it. But taking the time to set up the story of the Wasteland is really quite fun. And then I just found out yesterday that George Miller had hired some kids that had been bullied and picked on in Australia pretty horrifically to play the young war boys. And so he's just like, I want to
read
give you
about that.
I want to give you something cool to reflect on so that you're not just dwelling on the abuse that you've suffered. So I love that man. He's pretty awesome. So we finished the season 1 of The Gentleman and then immediately watched the movie. Which is interesting because the movie was kind of hobbled by the pandemic, like literally came out and the pandemic hit. So they're both interesting and kind of fun for their own reasons. Delicious in Dungeon still continues to be fun. Started Demon Slayer because a lot of people said, hey, you should be watching Demon Slayer. It's good anime. So, and then Interview with the Vampire continues to just be knocking
Wow.
this second season out of the park.
It's so good.
Even if
It's
you just
coming to
watch-
Netflix, so people can finally watch it
Is
at
it
some point.
really?
It's like, you know, the AMC Plus add-on that I have on my Amazon Prime is like $4 a month. So
Is that all it is? Because
It's pretty cheap.
because there's a lot of stuff on AMC that I've been wanting to watch, and I'm just like, I don't want to pay for another subscription.
It's pretty inexpensive.
Some
so-
AMC
I'll
stuff
look into
is
it.
some AMC stuff is coming over to Netflix. I don't remember the
Yeah.
other titles off the top of my head, but I know Interview with the Vampire is one of them.
I have to
Yeah,
research now.
it's a damn good show, and it's far better than the source material. We're going on a little Shonda Rhimes kick right now and watching Bridgerton season 2 and just blazing through How to Get Away with Murder, which is only good because of the people in it.
You're in
It's-
Shonda Land.
It's written very compellingly, but it's like it's
Yeah.
such glorious trash, but at the same time, wow. Anyway, Bridgerton
you
is
don't,
actually-
you don't have to think about it too much. Is what's,
but Bridgerton, on the other hand, I actually am finding the second season of Bridgerton to be a shit ton of fun. So, it's not mired down by a bunch of really awkward sex, which is weird because you'd think I'd be excited about the awkward
Is
sex.
there
but,
any other kind, Lee?
Oh, Tony.
it was like, you know, glorious set piece, Regency Ball, cunnilingus on the porch, Glorious set piece.
Modern
Yeah.
pop music played in a classical form.
Yeah.
Her
they
name
did-
is pronounced Connie Lingus. Lee, come
Connie
on.
Lingus.
Colonel Lingus returning from war any day now.
And then just for Carrie, the other night I couldn't sleep, so I got up and I thought, I'm gonna finally watch A Tour of the Fighting Eagle on MST3K, because A Tour of the Fighting Eagle is one of those movies that sat at the 7-Eleven I worked at when I was 18,
Yes.
unrented for the year that I worked there. Not a single person rented that movie.
It's
Now,
so
hang on a
bad.
sec. You used to be able to rent movies at 7-Eleven?
Hell yes, you could.
Yeah.
Rent movies.
Yeah, it was right next to the nacho
rem-
section at my
I
sub.
remember when you could do it at the grocery store.
I remember
Yes.
that,
Oh, yeah.
and I can
We had-
remember buying movies at 7-Eleven. I didn't know some.
We had the comics rack, the nachos, and the movie section right next
Sounds
to
like
each other.
heaven.
Right there. Oh, it was wonderful.
A tour,
7-Eleven.
The fighting
But
eagle.
A Tour of the Fight, that's such a bad movie, and it's perfect
cut.
for
It
Mystery
was-
Science Theater.
It was glorious. It was glorious. So it carried on their column jokes, because it seems if there's ever a column in one of their movies, they've got to just riff on the column and the bad placements of the columns.
Yes.
So, yeah.
There are times when you just need a Mystery Science Theater. Just something just to let it wash over you, let the wonderfulness happen to you, and then turn it off and go, that was lovely.
Yeah, I recommend A Tour, and then their bit on Mac and Me is just classic.
Oh yeah, the Mac and Me is
Yeah, that's the only way to watch Mac and Me. Don't watch it any other way.
Everybody always asks me if you're introducing people to Mystery Science Theater, what's the episode that you do? Most people say Manos, the Hands of Fate, to which I say, no, save that one. Mitchell is the one that you want is the one that you want to introduce them to, or the movie, which is This Island Earth. So anyway,
Oh yeah, we saw that at the tower.
at the tower, yeah,
Whoa.
It was a good time.
we had to beg the tower to bring it. Oh God, it was anyway. Rebecca.
Okay. This is not something I watched, but not in Utah that I can find, but other theaters. Take a look near you. June 20th, Midsommar will be playing at some select theaters in honor of the solstice. So if you want to watch my favorite movie, find it near you.
It's a good movie.
That movie's wild. I watched it for the first time last year, and I'm still scarred.
Yeah,
Yeah.
boy. My favorite movie.
At least they found a solution for old elderly housing.
Yeah.
The Vikings been doing that for centuries.
The thing about Midsummer is it's all about a girl who learns that it's okay to feel your feelings and find a sense of community. I don't know why people don't like that.
Clearly, that's what they were portraying.
I'm just upset because ever since we watched that, Rachel's had a hollowed out bear carcass sitting in the living room, and I don't know why.
I started playing Mass Effect this
Oh
week.
yeah!
More like Mass Elevator. I'm
You
so
got that
tired
right.
of
Uh-huh.
riding in elevators.
So they didn't know how to put a loading screen in the game without making it just look like a loading screen. So they
So
did
many
elevator rides.
Unnecessary walls I gotta walk around. I feel like I'm playing Knights of the Old Republic.
Same company.
So I'm trying. I feel
well-
obligated to finish it now because so many people have been
You
like,
have
"Oh my
to.
god,
Yeah, you
you're
have to.
playing the best games of all time."
Now,
Playing the best game of 2008.
I was gonna say it's a product of its time. The development style at the time, et cetera, et cetera. They updated quite a few things for the Legendary Edition that you got, so it's not as bad as it used to be in that aspect. But the jump in gameplay quality between 1 and 2 is massive. Like 2 plays fantastically. So
I'm excited to get to 2. I
Yeah.
got so bored with the elevators and the walls that I stopped to make this Mass Effect.
I love it so much. two things I love: Mass Effect and Taco Bell.
Yep. Anyway, also, I hope we can talk about this in the after party. I forgot to share the Venom 3 trailer, so hopefully we
Yes.
can talk about that in the after
Oh,
party.
I thought you guys would have done that last week. Okay.
I forgot. I totally forgot.
We'll do it today.
It's almost
All right.
like I knew it was coming because we used Venom 3 art for the after party thumbnail.
All right.
The Boys on Amazon. The first 3 episodes of season 4 dropped. The thing about The Boys is every time a new season drops, I'm like, ugh, I guess I'll watch it. Like I just feel obligated to watch it. But then I start watching it and I'm like, oh, right, this show is actually pretty good. And season 4 so far, pretty good. I'm having a really good time with it. Some new releases in the movie theater this week. A movie called Tuesday. It stars.
yes.
Is it the sequel to Monday?
It's
Yeah.
it stars Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and she plays a mother of a terminally ill daughter. And then one day, death shows up on their doorstep in the form of a parrot. It is an A24 flick, so meaningful weirdness is a large vibe here. And it's pulled off so magnificently. Julia Louis-Dreyfus gives a stunning performance.
She is a national treasure.
Watch her on, again, I'm telling you to go watch Seth Meyers. She did an interview on Seth Meyers this week that was fantastic. They also did a Seth Goes Day Drinking with Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And it's that series. I wish I was famous enough that I could do a day drinking with Seth special, because those are so much fun.
I just want to go day drinking with Julia Louis-Dreyfus. The hell with
And
Seth.
you've
Yeah.
wanted to for 35 years.
35 years.
She was
I
also
wish-
on Colbert Show this week, also promoting the movie.
Oh,
And
good.
she did a really good interview about the movie on there as well.
Oh, good.
I wish I could remember where this other interview was, but she was asked a question in response to what Jerry Seinfeld said about how, like, you can't really do comedy anymore, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And she had a really good response to it. I know I'm being so vague about it. I can't remember where it was or what specifically she said, but just know, like, there's a reason why she keeps working, and she has been so successful in comedy post Seinfeld.
Yes.
Do you guys remember the scene from WandaVision, What is Grief If Not Love Persevering?
Yes.
So there is a scene at the end of this movie with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and the parrot that I think gives that scene a run for its money. It is
Wow.
better, I think, than that scene from WandaVision. It happened and I was like,
Challenge accepted.
yeah.
All right.
It is a fantastical meditation on love and death and loss and grief. This all makes the movie sound like a big bummer, but it's not. It is a fantastic movie. I was a mess of tears at the end, but it is so far one of my favorite movies of the year. I gave it 4.5 out of 5.
Dang.
Yeah, highly recommend. Like I said, it is about death and the feelings that surround death. But if you're in the right headspace, truly give it a watch. And also, Inside Out 2 came out this week. Riley from the first movie is now a teenager, so you know what that means. Puberty and some new emotions. Some new emotions include anxiety, envy, embarrassment, and ennui, as well as some other aspects of the human mind that get fun representation.
Is there any good emotions that came along with puberty?
No.
That's just a general question for everyone here. I don't think so. I'm
Ennui
gonna say
was
no.
a personal favorite of mine.
Ennui in the movie was very good. Nostalgia is also introduced, and it's this old lady played by June Squibb, and she's an old lady. She has rose-colored glasses on.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was pretty cute.
These movies, these Inside Out movies, are so much smarter than people give them credit for. Yeah. Especially
it's a
that
kid's
first
movie.
one.
Like,
Yeah.
here's the thing. This movie overall, it was fine. It's not like groundbreaking in any way. I think it is a great entry level movie for kids who are entering puberty, and to give them kind of an understanding of what is happening to them emotionally. I think I really liked how they incorporated some new elements like a stream of consciousness, a sarcasm that you can see it in the trailer, brainstorms, vaults that harbor where the deep secrets go to live.
Whoa. I gotta go see this.
Yeah, and it's all the stuff that we as adults have a better grasp on than the youths, but I think it's a fun. I wish I had this instead of the American Girl puberty book that I had, right? Like it does a really fantastic job of just showcasing, hey, this, if you are having an anxiety attack, this is what you can picture is happening. And, it was all right,
Oh, it's
Oh wait, after all that, it's just all right.
Yeah. I think I was like, maybe it's because I'm winning at therapy recently, so I'm like, yes, this is all old hat to me.
I didn't know about all this.
Tony, can you grab Dr. White's comment at the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah. let's see, Inside Out movies work with actual. I was just going to bring this up. They work with actual psychologists to get a deeper take on emotions. The Pixar writers bring in an army of psychologists and talk with them about the whole thing and how to represent it. And the Inside Out, especially that first one, is so much smarter than people give it credit for. It's such an amazing. Well, I'm a mess every time I watch it. I'll put it that way.
It's really weird to me that there are things that existed for our generation that didn't exist afterwards. And you couldn't represent in a kids movie anyway, because when you're about 13 in the 80s, you would come across, or even the 70s, you come across something that we lovingly refer to as field porn.
Out in the wilderness, there's always some. You just got to find it.
Yeah, and it's like, what part of your brain does that go to with your emotions?
Probably the deep vault.
The deep vault.
The deep
That's
vault.
where the field porn hides.
Yeah, like I said, this movie was fine. I am pretty vocal about how I like to cry at most everything. I didn't cry once at all during Inside Out 2, so take that as you will. The animation, the animation was stunning as per usual.
Yeah.
Some fantastic work with textures. But ultimately, I don't think it's anything groundbreaking. It so far appears to be a box office grab for the early summer.
Oh, it's huge, yeah.
This first week, it brought in $62 million on opening day, and it is on track for $145 million over the weekend.
Oh, wow.
So far, the largest opening of 2024. So,
Take that Garfield movie.
take that, Dune.
Yeah, Dune. I forgot about that.
So yeah, it was fine. I gave it 3 out of 5. It was fine.
All right. Rebecca, the rare mid-range review for Inside Out 2.
Yeah.
Most every critic I've seen is just like, this is amazing. So,
Nah.
all right. Let's see. Let me tell you a little quick Inside Out 2 story, real quick here. I do a radio show. I don't know if y'all are aware.
You do?
Heard of this, yeah.
And one of the things that I quite enjoy is how we're able to communicate in real time with the people listening to the show. And we have a chat room and of course phone calls, but we also have a text program where you can text the show. And I got a text when we had our film critic come in to review Inside Out 2. A text from somebody who said, "Could you please ask the film critic," and I didn't on the air because I didn't want to spoil anything. Would you please ask the film critic about, the movie and its alleged wokeness?
What?
Christ on a crutch.
Because I'm having an argument with my conservative friends, and they're refusing to go, and they're refusing to let their kids go because
everything Disney is woke now.
because everything Disney is woke now. All right.
Why? Because there's a Muslim character who's on screen for
No.
2 seconds?
Woke.
Then I probed this person a little bit further and asked her some more questions. She said, well, my conservative friends are telling me that Riley in the movie likes girls, which is not true.
If she does, they never ever talk about it.
It's somebody on conservative YouTube told them she does.
Gotta be,
Exactly.
yeah.
They speculated and took it as fact.
Do you know what it is?
You
Do you
know?
know what it is, actually? It's because we don't like to see girls and women respecting and admiring other women. And that's a huge plot point in this movie. Riley's trying to make a hockey team, and on the hockey team is a girl that she really looks up and respects to. And she spends a lot of time thinking about that and wondering, how can I impress so-and-so? And if she does have a crush on her, it's never, ever, ever brought up.
And so I replied to this texter saying, according to our film critic, no, that's not the case. And here's what I would suggest you do. Stop talking to these people. All right? You're wasting time and emotion and
brain
energy
cells.
and brain cells. So tell these people to just take off. Anyway.
Dr. White brings up the fact that Riley does play sports. So
Yes. So they had just assumed, yeah.
And not
Fill
only
in the
sports, but
blanks.
like she plays hockey, which is, traditionally a more masculine
That's a boy
sport.
sport.
And to which I would say, even if it was she had a crush on a girl, so what?
You know what's even worse is in the movie, there's multiple instances of her showcasing crushes on boys in pop culture.
Yeah.
What more do you need? I mean,
What
Anyway.
more do you? Yeah, whatever.
So,
Whatever.
and I got more to say about that when we talk about the Acolyte coming up, because I'm really enjoying the Acolyte.
Next time somebody brings up, hockey being a man sport, ask them to look up Manon Rome. She
Yes.
was a female hockey player for the Tampa Bay Lightning. She
Yes.
played goalie, if I remember correctly.
The Boys' new season. Here's the thing about The Boys. It is one of the best written shows on television right now. And I can see why Tony left, because they'll throw things at you just to freak you out, just to make you go,
For
ew.
shock value.
For shock value.
It's
Yeah,
the show that I learned not to sneeze when I'm inside somebody's penis.
There's that.
Yeah,
well,
next
clearly.
time.
But if you can-
It's
But if
the
you-
one of, they just, I don't mind some shock value,
Yeah.
I'm totally okay with it, but I feel like they just take it to an egregious level, like
Get
a lot
past,
of the time.
yeah, they do, and this season they certainly do, and they've only just started. But get past that and look at the way that they're writing, especially for Homelander this season. This is some of the best stuff, and Anthony Starr is such a good actor when it comes to relaying this monster who's just, he wants to just destroy everything and everyone. You can tell. Just brilliant acting and brilliant writing, so take a look at it.
I'll give it another chance.
Speaking of brilliant writing, Hacks is back.
Yeah, Hacks is done.
I'm catching up with
Oh
Hacks.
man, it's so good. This season's finished. It got renewed for another season.
Yes.
I can't wait.
Hannah
And-
Einbinder has a comedy special.
Which I watched,
Oh,
which I was
nice.
going to tell you about. Hannah Einbinder's comedy special, which is unlike just about any comedy special I've ever seen. And I'll give this to her. Boy, she knows how to work a pause. There are comedians who they'll do a pause, but boy, I've never seen a comedian milk a pause like she does, to the point where it's almost uncomfortable. And even the people in the theater are like,
She was on she was on Comedy Bang Bang right around the time when her special came out, and she talked about how this special is kind of an amalgamation of everything from her career, which isn't old. She's only been doing this since 2017.
yeah. No, she's new to the business, but boy, she's just brilliant, and definitely Lorraine Newman's kid, but very, very
I
interesting.
didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
So take a look. Very, very good. And like I said, I got more to say about the Acolyte in the after party. Tony, games. Do we have anything?
Guess what? I already got it brought up. Boom.
Oh,
That's right. That's right, Rebecca. All right. Let's see. Coming out this week, we got Tavern Talk on PC. I don't know what that is. Shin Megami Tensei Vengeance, if you like your JRPGs, coming out on the 21st. And then the big release this week that makes none of the other ones matter is the DLC expansion for Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. And all you Elden Ring junkies out there, this is the big one.
I saw
This is
Lee go,
what you've been waiting for.
Oh,
Yeah.
Elden Ring, I can't personally play it, but I love to watch people play it and then watch them freak out, because
That's
it is
me.
some weird shit.
I just started that game a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, it's fun. It's punishing. Its storytelling is non-existent, but they
It's
still
everything
somehow
Norman
learn how
Reedus-
to drop lore in there, so you're still interested.
It's everything a story about Norman Reedus carrying a fetus in a jar should be.
the Norman Reedus fetus.
Yeah, it's like
name is Maintenance Pink.
Death Stranding and Elden Ring decided, who can tell story in the weirdest way. But yeah, that DLC comes out this week, and so a lot of hype around that. The internet gaming posts are going crazy excited for it.
Nothing about Metallica in Fortnite.
Nothing about,
Oh,
they
jeez.
just didn't. Metallica, been around since before video games were a thing, and
yeah.
Now they're in one.
Silly.
Let's see. And of course, I want you to keep an eye on Squirrel with a Gun. I want you to keep an eye on that one.
Carrie comes to the group
love-
chat and he's like, "Is this real?"
Is this a real thing? He's like, this looks amateurish. And I'm like, yeah, it's supposed to. It's like a 1 or 2 man dev team, and they're just going for crazy.
And here's what I like about it. The title is the game.
Yep.
Squirrel with a Gun.
It is what it says on the tin. You're a
This is
squirrel
what I'm buying.
with a gun.
All right. GeekShowGotThisCovered.com is the link to our Patreon, where we're headed right now to have the after party. So thank you all for showing up today. Nice weather out there, and you're inside. What's wrong with you?
It's hot.
I just
It is
realized
hot.
It's too hot.
I completely jumbled Death Stranding and Elden Ring together.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
I tried to.
video
I
I didn't
tried
want
to.
to say anything.
I tried
No,
to
it's
cross
all
it
right.
over for
It's
you.
all right. I'm trying
But,
so hard not to bulldoze everybody with nonstop talk that
that's okay.
my brain just stopped working.
All right.
That's okay.
Well, bulldoze us about the Acolyte coming up in the after party. We got a lot to say. Lot to say about this coming up. So live long and prosper, bitches.
Goodbye.